Welcome in, everyone, to the BirdGangBrothers podcast, episode 1. I am Nathan Parker, and this is my little brother.
Tyler Parker, welcome y'all.
We are brought to you by and sponsored by nobody because we are not that cool yet. We want to give a quick shout out to the creators of the music intro video, The Blanks. Give them a follow on Apple Music, Spotify, and Instagram at THEBLNX. Also, give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter at BirdGangBrother. Please subscribe to this channel and follow for the latest content on the Philadelphia Eagles. First thought, Tyler. What was your thought on that music intro video when I sent it to you?
Man, that got me hyped. Those videos, everything about it just got me so excited for Eagles football. Let me tell you that.
No, I agree. I remember where I was. I was on my way to my in-laws' house, and I opened up that message from one of the creators and listened to it, and it was just so cool. Just trying to create this podcast with you, trying to create an intro that would bring viewers to watch our podcast. I thought that was perfect. I was super grateful for them. So please go give them a follow on those social media platforms. Let's go ahead and get started.
All right, we're gonna jump in to talking about the season. You know, this is a Philadelphia Eagles podcast, so what better thing to do than talk about how they're gonna be playing this season? So let's just jump in. Nate, what do you say talking about their schedule and pulling out a record prediction?
Yeah, no, for sure. Just a heads up, we're coming to you week 3, Sunday night before the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Philadelphia Eagles game. We apologize for some of the delays that we've had, but we'll get right into it. I don't believe my record prediction has changed according to these first 2 weeks of the season. I had us starting out 2-0 based off of the games that we've played so far. What about you? Any changes?
No, I have that the same. You know, figured there'd be close games, which they were, but yeah, I had them taking these 2 weeks.
What did you what did you think about these first 2 games? Just quick brief summary of what you thought, what you didn't like, what you want to see more of. Just give me a brief rundown of what you thought.
First thing, gotta mention it, gotta get it out there. I am stoked this year for Jalen Carter, man. Like all that hype in in training camp, and to see it come to fruition, that was amazing. I'm super excited for that this year, and we saw that, you know, in these last few games. So that was definitely a sight to see. Little nervous for sure about the secondary in both games. That was something that you know costed us quite a bit, but no, just excited to have, you know, good season this year, starting off on the right note. Um, I don't know, like to see a little bit of better play calling from our offensive coordinator for sure, but I definitely think that'll come as, you know, as the weeks go on. But yeah, that. What about you?
When you begin a season and you have a new offensive coordinator and you have a new defensive coordinator, they're going to be working out the kinks. Nick Sirianni's got 2 new coaches that he's got to get accustomed to the way he likes to play, but also work together. Let them utilize their talents and schemes on that side of the ball. So I'm trying to be patient with Brian Johnson. Obviously, as a former Utah Ute, I mean, we both
Go
obviously
Utes, baby!
live in Utah. Like to watch the Utah Utes, and he's been with Jalen for
Ever since he was
years.
young.
Do you remember how young he was?
I don't. I just know it's been a time that he's been with him. So
Yeah, I want to say it was like single digit age. I mean, age 8 or something like that. He's been with Brian Johnson, and so there's familiarity there. Uh, I thought that he over or is overutilizing the RPO with Jalen Hurts. There's a lot more designed runs and QB draws for Jalen that I don't like to see. One, because of injury, but two, it's predictable now on those third down and shorts, and you're running a QB draw to the right side of the field. It's not my favorite thing to see. I would love to see more downfield throws from Jalen. We've seen a couple bombs to Devontae Smith, a couple to AJ Brown, and he's missing wide open options. We talked about Dallas Goedert in the Vikings game on a curl route to the right side. Goddard was open twice. So I do think Jalen's got to improve. I don't know if that's just, again, getting used to a new offensive coordinator, but I'd like to see improvement from Brian Johnson. I'm a little concerned, and I think it was Greg Cosell following the Vikings game. He said that this was the best called game, or one of the best called games from an offensive coordinator standpoint, because of his ability to change mid game or adjust mid game to then, you know, turn to the run game, and then you give DeAndre Swift 175 yards and a touchdown. So I want to see some improvements on the offensive calling, just because they haven't been super impressed with that. And Sean Desai, we're losing players left and right. I think that was Savonte Maddox's last snap as a Philadelphia Eagle. Like, hot take. I don't know. What do you agree? Do you think they're going to give him another shot?
I think I'm going to have to agree with you. I'd love to see him back because he's a phenomenal player, but he's just hurt all the time. Never can stay healthy, which really does suck. But he's a great defender. I love him on that defensive side. And I don't think he sees a snap anymore as a Philadelphia Eagle. But we'll see. There. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, he was drafted in 2018, and I think that was the same year as Russell Douglas, and I think he's played one full season, and that was in 2019 or 2020, and that was obviously an odd year with COVID. But I think we're going to be looking for a new slot corner. That Isaiah Rodgers that we picked up from the Colts is a good option going into next year, obviously following his suspension. Um, I'm a little worried, secondary and the linebacking core. As we go forward in the podcast, we'll obviously talk about prospects from college, but
I'll tell you this real quick before we move on. You want to know what is working? And even though others know what's going on, it still works 92% of the time.
the tush push.
The tush push. I don't know if you've seen across the league, but no one can get it done. So I'm all for it. Keep going forward with it, and let's see how many touchdowns Jalen can get.
Hey, people can complain all they want. I don't really care, if it works. Tom Brady and the Patriots did that all the time, and they were successful, and there was no whining. So, no, I
Hey,
totally agree.
as long as we're not deflating, any footballs, I think we're good.
Shots fired, Tom. Pew, 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 pew. No, but yeah, the tush push is definitely one of those plays that's hard to stop. You've got our offensive line, so let's go right into record predictions. Like we stated a couple minutes ago, we're in week 3. Our records haven't changed according to the results of the first 2 games. So let's just go from there, Tyler. Let's have you start. We'll kind of discuss, and we'll see what we got.
No, yeah, I got It'll be an interesting game for sure. Coming at us tomorrow night, Monday Night Football. Um, both squads undefeated, so um, I a road game. Definitely see it being a lot closer, but I think Philly walks away with a win tomorrow night. Um, hopefully we see a few changes there, but going into tomorrow, I see Philly picking up a W again.
Yeah, we'll talk about Tampa Bay here after this record prediction and playoff prediction. But Todd Bowles' defense is impressive this year. That's one thing that they do have going for them. Overall, they've got a great team. Um, but yeah, with us being 2-0, I see us going into Tampa Bay tomorrow and getting a win. I think we're looking at 31-23, something around there. Uh, I do. I'm really hoping and I'm anticipating a Jalen Hurts revenge type game because 2 years ago, regular season
20.
lost to Tampa Bay,
Yep.
and then in the playoffs lost to Tampa Bay. So I think you can say that this game's a little personal to him, and I think we get clicking. We've had this mini bye to figure things out. Jason Kelsey said the team was on edge when he was talking to Pat McAfee. So I do think we kick it into gear a little bit more. But yeah, I think we come out with the win in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's getting a lot of hype right now. Uh, and now, and you have to draw a fine line because it's not always easy to win in the NFL. You look at the game today, the Cardinals, one of the worst teams in the NFL, beating the Dallas Cowboys. So at any given moment, a bad team can win. And so Tampa Bay is certainly capable of winning. You have 6'5" Mike Evans on the side, and then Godwin on the other side, Rashad White in the backfield, and their defense. Like I said, what is his Devin White linebacker? Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go with a win in Tampa Bay tomorrow. Uh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna move on to that next game, Game 4 against the Commanders. Um, feel bad for all those who had Sam Howell in their fantasy today. Got zero point 0.6 points. Shout out to him. But divisional games, you never know how those pan out. Um, I always seem to take it. Each season it's split. You know, take a game at home, and then the opposing team they take a win in their on their fields. But a Sunday game, um, Washington. I think we walk away with that one. Um, they didn't look great today either, but I got Philly going 4-0 for sure.
Yeah, no, I got Philly going 4-0 as well. I That's back in Philadelphia,
Yep.
so that being at the link, which I hope we get to go sooner rather than later. Like the first time that we're going to be able to walk into the link, uh, what I think would be funny is if we could do what do they call it, a GoFundMe for the Bird Gang Brothers to be able to make it out to Philadelphia and see a game. That would be awesome. But anyways, the link having that home field advantage there is real. It's in division. Washington's not a bad team offensively. They've got a lot of weapons. There's Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, and Brian Robinson in the backfield. I know he's one of them. And Sam Howell, up and down games. That's okay.
Yeah.
This is his first year starting, but I have Philly getting the win against Washington, being 4-0, and then going into Los Angeles, which Los Angeles is a lot better this year than I think people thought they would be. Uh, I'm still irritated that I decided to draft Cooper Cup, and then he goes on to the IR, and I'm starting 0-3 in one of my leagues. But that Puka Nakua kid from BYU is pretty talented too, and I think he's got quite the relationship and chemistry with Matt Stafford. Uh, but I think we beat Los Angeles as well in
Yeah,
Los Angeles. Uh, I think that game is probably going to come down to the defensive side of the ball and us being able to pressure Matt Stafford with the dogs.
dog.
Jalen
Jalen
Carter,
Carter, dog.
dog.
Jordan
Jordan
Davis,
Davis, dog.
dog.
Nakobe Dean on
Dog.
IR, the
Dog.
dog,
Reed Blankenship, dog.
dog. So,
No, I agree with you on that one. That it's going to come down definitely to the defense for sure. Um, it'll be interesting to see if Cup's back by then. I don't know, how he's trending, how he's looking, if he's healthy or not. Um, so, I hate to say one player determines a whole game, but when it's Cooper Cup, I mean, I don't
well, you
know.
look at the Chiefs and Travis Kelsey. If there's no Travis Kelsey, they lost to the Lions. So one man can make a difference on some of those teams. But
Yeah, nope. I'm sticking with it though. It'll be a good game, but Philly walking away. Week 5, going 5-0.
okay, and I made this record prediction, everyone, before the injury to Aaron Rodgers. I thought there was quite a bit overhype for the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers. I can't tell you, I hated turning on Get Up in the Morning and all these other sports shows, and all they would talk about was Aaron Rodgers. It's like listening to Skip Bayless and all he talks about is the Dallas Cowboys. It gets freaking old. And they still do it. After he tore his Achilles, it's like Aaron Rodgers this, Aaron Rodgers that. I don't care. He's
Or
injured.
or Chris Collinsworth talking about Patrick Mahomes. That's all
Yeah.
you get every game he's commenting on. Patrick Mahomes this, Patrick Mahomes that.
Yep.
So what? Like I definitely understand, Phil. What you're saying. Definitely smelling what you're stepping in, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off there though. But I'm not buying all the Aaron Rodgers hype either.
No, and so like I said, this prediction was made before this season started, and I have them beating New York as well.
Yep.
Now, I think it's a for sure win because Zach Wilson is just he's not the answer, and Garrett Wilson's getting upset. Everybody else is getting upset with not getting the ball. It's just a mess over there. So I don't see Philly losing to New York. So I think that puts us at 6
6-0.
and 0. So what about the next one? What do you got for the next one?
Man, I'm looking forward to this game for sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we got the Kelly Green jerseys coming out for that game. Super excited for that. But I
Which,
would
by the way, as soon as we get done with this episode, I'm submitting our order for both of us to get the Kelly Green Jason Kelsey jerseys. So we're stoked about being able to get those. So we'll be wearing those as soon as we can. But for sure on that game against Miami.
we'll be dropping some pics when we got the jerseys on. Show everyone. But yeah, super excited. Kelly Green. I'm excited, man. I wish there were more than 2 games this season that they were showing those. But I'm excited. It's a Sunday night game. It's in the link. I don't know. Miami's looking really good.
Mm-hmm.
They were. I mean, I unfortunately all my opponents in fantasy had Tyreek Hill, so kind of screwed me over there. But
Or Mostert,
or Raheem,
Raheem.
but man, Tua's looking good. I was questioning his health. I honestly didn't know if he was going to be able to do it, but
Yeah,
he's
but didn't
walked.
didn't he do like some jujitsu or some crap in the off season on learning how to fall?
he had to do something because it paid off.
Well, we're 2 games in. Well, 3 for them, I guess, but we'll see. No,
But
but I agree.
dropping 70 on an opponent, it doesn't matter if you're the Houston Texans, the Dallas. It doesn't matter. 70 points on an opposing team. I'm not saying they're the best in the league right now, but they're looking hot.
I think I heard uh, McDaniel's. He he had the opportunity to go for a field goal to
Beat the
make
record.
it beat the record at 73 points, but he knelt instead. And I don't know, I thought that's cool. That shows class as a coach. Unfortunately, first game in the Kelly Green jerseys, I have Philly losing to Miami. I will say, at that point, I wouldn't be surprised if Howie has made a move, if Howie has cooked, if you will, when it comes to the trade market. I think he wants to shore up that secondary before the trade deadline passes, because he knows that we're in a Super Bowl window, and he's going to take full advantage of that. But I think it's going to be a good game. You've got a highly explosive offense with the Miami Dolphins, and then you've got the Philadelphia Eagles with a highly explosive defensive front.
Defense, yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, so I've got us at 6-1 at that point. We'll play Washington at Washington. I've got Philly taking the dub on that one as well. And then we will finish off week 9 right before the bye playing Dallas. I've got us losing to Dallas in Philadelphia. Now, again, I'm going to stick to this that we made this predictions before anything happened, and Trayvon Diggs tearing his ACL is huge. That secondary depended on him, and we all know that if you have a fantastic secondary like we saw last year for Philadelphia, your ability to pressure the quarterback and keep the ball in their hands longer, those chances increase when you've got a secondary like that. So unfortunate, but I still do think that Dallas will take that game.
Okay, I especially when it's the Cowboys. You want everyone healthy. I hate the going back. Oh, Dak wasn't playing, or oh, Jalen wasn't playing. I hate games like that. So it's unfortunate. But I don't know. I mean, for me at least, I've got Philly losing like they did last season to Washington at Washington, Week 8. Um, so I think they get things definitely changed. It's at home. It's a big division game. Um, that next week, Week 9 against the Cowboys. So I feel like they go into the bye week only having lost to the Commanders. Again, in division games, you never really know. Anything could happen. I mean, heck, Dallas lost today. We saw that performance. So anything's possible, but I don't know. I've got them only losing one before that bye week. So
In the words of Kevin Garnett, anything is possible. Okay, so I got us going into the bye week at 7-2.
8-1.
First, first game post bye Super Bowl rematch, Kansas City. First thing I'll say is, man, that was tough losing the Super Bowl. I know a lot of people can't watch it, but I've rewatched the Super Bowl probably about 3 times. I know you said that you haven't watched it. It's just tough.
Nope, I can't.
But I think we'll take that game. I think we'll take that game in Kansas City. We're going to come in with more, in the words of Jonathan Gannon, fire in our gut. Did we take the bus or did we
Did we
drive?
drive?
Did we drive to that game? So,
Hey,
um,
something worked.
Yeah, he okay. Something worked today, but can you imagine being a player sitting in the team room listening
I'm
to
telling you, I would have walked out as soon as he said that.
a motivational speech where he's like, "Did you drive here? Did you take the bus? Do you have fire in your gut?" And then nothing after that, and it was dead silent. Like that was the worst motivational speech.
Hey, hey, Sirianni was getting slandered for his flower comments, so you never know. That could turn into something.
Well, I mean, uh,
I'm not counting on it, but you never know.
Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen came from Nick Sirianni and his coaching tree. So, but yeah, I think we'll beat Kansas City. Like I said, we'll come in with more fire, and I think we take that game. What do you think?
It's it's in Arrowhead. That's a difficult place to play. It's loud. I'm excited for it. It's a Monday night game, Super Bowl rematch, but I don't know. I for sure got that game circled, but I don't know if they can pull it out. Who knows? Travis Kelsey might bring Taylor Swift along again, and he could go off for 3 or 4 touchdowns. You don't know, but unfortunately, I've got them losing the Super Bowl rematch against Kansas City.
Okay. The next game, Week 12, we've got Buffalo. Um, I've got us losing to Buffalo. Now, I mean, this could go either way. I could see Philly pulling this out as well, but I just think following such an emotional win against the Kansas City Chiefs, that they may not be fully ready to go against Buffalo and Josh Allen. So, yeah, I got them losing to Buffalo, unfortunately, which is that's the second time in the Kelly Green jerseys. So for me, both Kelly Green jersey games, I've got a loss, unfortunately.
I think that'll be a good game. I'm looking forward to that as well. Shout out to Buffalo's tight end Dalton Kincaid. Played at Utah. Big fan of him. Excited to see him ball out this season. But you can't have them losing their only games they're playing in the Kelly Green jerseys. I mean, come on. That's I don't know. I've got them winning that one. It'll be a close game for sure, but I've got them winning it after a loss to Kansas City. I think they'll switch it around, and I think they'll pick up the W, especially at the link. I mean, that's a home game, so
Okay. Week 13, San Francisco. I don't know. What would you say the game that's marked more on calendars, Kansas City or San Francisco?
I mean, for me, they're both marked, but I don't know. They're both big games. I don't know. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Excited to get another rematch of last year. Hope again everyone's healthy, but we'll kind of see how that goes. But I don't know.
I This is going to suck because you can't. I don't want to lose both rematch games, Kansas City and San Francisco, but I have them losing both games. I I want to beat San Francisco because I want to beat them with Brock Purdy. Uh, don't get me wrong, we were robbed of a NFC Championship game when Hassan Reddick took out Brock Purdy. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you put a tight end on Hassan Reddick coming around the edge. But I'm not the coach. I want to beat him because we're not going to trash talk, but we're going to be able to say, "See, we told you we could beat you, even with a quarterback." There's three. I'll just go over these real fast. Robbie Gold, before the Super Bowl, said, "Make." Oh, what did he say? Okay, so this is what Robbie Gold said. If you make Jalen Hurts play quarterback, you're going to have probably a pretty solid day on defense. Okay, well, Robbie Gold, let me tell you the stats really quick. Jalen Hurts, having to play quarterback against the Kansas City Chiefs, went 27 of 38 for 304 yards. Um, Obviously, he didn't outplay Patrick Mahomes in regards to winning the Super Bowl, but in a sense, outplayed Patrick Mahomes in that game. His only flaw in that game was that fumble, and that, maybe ended up costing us the game. Probably did. Um, then you have Brandon Ayuk saying, I don't know fully about the defense. Like, how good is Philadelphia's defense actually? Well, we had 70 sacks and somewhere between 15 and 17 interceptions. So I'd say that's pretty good as a defense in the NFL, no matter who you're playing. And then last, I've got what did Debo say? Do you remember what Debo said?
I do not. I tried not to pay attention to what they had to say because it's just excuses. But unfortunately, I did not take a look at that. I didn't pay attention, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, we lost because we played with 10 people, which, like I said, we got robbed of an NFC championship game when Brock Purdy went down. But the one thing that I like to remind people is Brock Purdy doesn't play defense. Uh, they were not able to stop the run. Miles Sanders had 2 touchdowns. They weren't able to stop the RPO. And so that's my only argument when I talk to people is, oh, if we would have had Brock Purdy, we could have won this thing. It could have been closer, but your defense still was not doing what I
It's
thought
job.
its job, what I thought it could do as the number
Yep.
one ranked defense in the NFL. So, anyways, I've got them losing to San Francisco. We'll finish this out really fast because those were kind of the main games I wanted to talk about. But I've got us beating Dallas in Dallas, losing to Seattle at Seattle, and then finishing out on a 3-game win streak against the Giants, Cardinals, and Giants with a record of 12-5. Now that record of 12-5, as we'll get to here very quickly, will put us in the second seed in the NFC behind the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay, fair take. I'll finish it off really quickly because I do not have the same outcome as you. Um, Again, that may change, but I've got Philly in a big showdown beating the San Francisco, losing in Dallas, losing to Seattle. I think people don't.
They underestimate the
Yeah,
Seahawks.
yeah, and I think they're a dark horse this year for sure. So I think Philly loses to them, and then like you said, finishes out that 3-game winning streak and ending at 13-4. So
13-4 is the same as last season.
same as last season.
Okay, so let's go through the playoff predictions really fast, and then give our Super Bowl, and then we'll pick our winner, and that will be our episode for today, episode 1. We'll come at you again tomorrow, roughly after, I don't know, 10 to 30 minutes after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game to just recap what we saw. Uh, Again, looking forward to the next week and maybe discussing some other topics. So let's go ahead and finish out with these playoff predictions and Super Bowl predictions. Let's see what you got.
All right, we want to start AFC or NFC?
Let's start AFC.
AFC. Okay, I'm sure like everyone else, you got Kansas City at number 1. You can't bet against Patty Mahomes. So yeah, I got them at number 1. I've got the Dolphins at number 2. I got the Jags at number 3, and I've got the Ravens at 4.
Okay.
Now going into the wild card, I got the Bengals coming in at 5. Don't know how Joe is gonna do. playing with that injury, so it'll be interesting to see. I got the Bills at 6, and I've got the Chargers at 7.
Hmm.
So it'll be it'll be interesting, but that's who I got in that first round.
Okay, so in the first round of the AFC, I've got the Chiefs at number 1, per usual. At number 2, I've got the Dolphins. Now, I think going forward, those can definitely be changed
Changed for sure.
based off of what we're seeing. Number 3, I've got the Bengals. This was, again, made before anything has happened this season. So uh, I definitely think that the Bengals could be lower because I do think that Joe Burrow's calf is going to play more into the success of the Bengals.
For sure.
I've got the Jaguars at number 4. I've got at number 5 the Chargers, 6 the Bills, and 7 the Ravens.
All right, moving on. Then I've got Kansas City in an anticipated matchup against the Bengals. I think that'll be a good one to watch. And then I've got the Bills moving on to play the Dolphins.
That'll be a good game. Playoffs last year.
Yep.
Now, granted, they didn't have Tua, but yeah, no, that will be a good game. In that in that divisional round, I have the Chiefs playing the Jaguars again, and I've got the Dolphins playing the Bengals. And the winner out of those two advancing to the AFC Championship game will be the Chiefs and the Dolphins.
Yep. That's what I got too.
Okay, real quick, the Chiefs and the Dolphins. I got the Dolphins advancing to the Super Bowl. I just think that they are too explosive. The Chiefs have a good defense this year.
Tua explosive. I see what you did there.
I didn't even mean to do that. Did I really do that?
Hey, I'll just say you did because I had to throw it out there.
Okay, yeah. So they are too explosive. So yeah, Dolphins are going to advance to the Super Bowl. Who you got out of the Chiefs and the Dolphins?
I would love to see the Dolphins beat the
Yeah,
Chiefs.
for
I
sure.
would
For
love to
sure.
see it. I can never bet against Patrick Mahomes. It's unstoppable. I don't know. I don't want to see him back there, but I have Kansas City going back to the big game down there in Vegas.
It'd be a good game. Let's hop over to the NFC really fast. We've got Niners at 13-4 for me in the first seed. Eagles 12-5 second seed. Lions 10-7 in the third seed. And fourth, I've got the Saints at 9-8.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Unfortunately, I got San Fran with that number 1. I got Philly with 2. Um, I got the Lions with 3, and then I got again. I made this before the season started. I'm not going to sit here and change it, but I've got Carolina at 4 winning in their division. I honestly think the Saints will pull that one out now after watching how they play. I mean, Bryce Young didn't even line up behind the center, so who knows? He might not.
Ex Eagle Miles Sanders had to give him a little push over.
Yes, but again, this was made prior to the season, so I'll stick with
Yeah.
it. I've
I wouldn't
got
be surprised if the Falcons took
yeah,
that spot.
they are looking good. I got Dallas at 5.
Yep.
I've got Seattle at 6.
Yep.
I could definitely see those two maybe switching throughout the season. I don't know. And again, remember this was made before the season started. I have Minnesota at 7, but fortunately that's not looking too hot. I wanted a good outcome for them. One, because they got Jettas and they got Kirk playing for big contracts. I want them to
Yeah.
play good. And my in-laws are from Minnesota, so I kind of gotta cheer for them a little bit. But
Skull. Foles. Okay. Yeah, I've got the Cowboys at 5, Seahawks 6. I have the Packers at 7. Shout out to Jordan Love,
they love.
Utah State Aggie. That's where I attended college, and he was awesome to watch, and I think he's doing a great job in Green Bay right now. So in the divisional round, I got the Niners playing the Cowboys again for the third year in a row, and then I've got the Eagles playing the Lions.
Unfortunately, we won't see um, Zeke at center. Kind of wanted to see that again, but it'll
I don't
be
I
a
don't know
different game for sure.
I don't know who called that play. That was ridiculous.
But no, I'm right there with you too. I got the Niners and the Cowboys in that first game as well.
Okay, who you got on the? Because I know
I've,
you're taking the Eagles.
of course, yeah. There's no questions. Okay,
I mean, we're not being biased towards Philadelphia. I
it's
mean,
the
maybe
NFC.
maybe there's a little bit of bias, but they're super talented. How could they not advance to that second round?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I got them facing the Lions. Lions is
Okay,
looking good this year. Um, so I don't know. We'll kind of see how that goes, but yeah, I got those two divisional matchups going for us
okay, sounds good. I've got the Niners beating the Cowboys again,
again.
and I've got the Eagles beating the Lions to a rematch of the NFC Championship game last year, 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles. Unfortunately, because the Niners are the number one seed, that game will be played in San Francisco. And as much as I want Philadelphia to return to the Super Bowl, I don't think it's going to happen. I think San Francisco will win and they will advance to the Super Bowl to play the Dolphins. Uh, Philly's definitely capable, and I really want those four because I think, we've talked about it. There's that picture post NFC Championship game where you've got Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Brandon Graham, and Fletcher Cox. Those four are going to be retired very shortly. Jason Kelsey, I think, after this year. And I'd love for them to get back to the Super Bowl and actually win it. But it's tough. Not many teams can do it.
Yeah,
So,
I, you got to have faith. That's what I'm starting off with. I know it'll be in San Fran, but I like Philly. I like Philly in this game. It'll definitely be a defensive, game, but I I got a good feeling there. I feel like Philly could advance, and that's what I have for them. I've got them beating San Fran and returning to the Super Bowl. So
okay. So it's, if I remember correct, it was the Chiefs, right? Like not betting against Patty Mahomes. So you've got Eagles Chiefs rematch.
Kelsey Bowl 2.0.
Kelsey Bowl 2.0. This time we're gonna have Donna Kelsey plus possibly T Swift, baby.
Hey, hear me out. Hear me out. T Swift is an Eagles fan. Okay,
Oh, that's true.
so maybe she helps us out. Maybe they go in to dating. They make it to the Super Bowl, Kelsey Bowl 2.0, and she ghosts him or something. And Travis, as much as I love him, he's heartbroken. Doesn't play as well as he's supposed to, and Philly comes out on top.
Or she sneaks the playbook over to Jason Kelsey.
Hey, hey, got to do what you got to do. I mean, come on.
So I I've got the Niners winning it all this year, beating the Dolphins. I'm the same as you. I'd love to see the Dolphins win the whole thing. But yeah, I've got Niners Dolphins in the Super Bowl with the Niners taking Super Bowl 58.
That would be a crazy good game. That would be electric for sure.
Who? Sorry, you probably already said. I just can't remember. But who's your Super Bowl champion again?
You gotta ask that question
Oh,
on a
that's right.
Philly podcast.
That's right. It was Philadelphia. My bad.
Not being biased, but you gotta believe in them Philly dogs.
Dog.
Dog. But yeah,
Okay.
we'll see how that goes. But I like those predictions. I like the playoffs, and it should be a good season. So
Nope, I agree. Like we said, thanks for joining us in this episode one. Please subscribe, give us a follow. We're having fun. We probably sound like total losers. Probably don't know what we're doing. Uh, but
you
like
got
I
to
said,
start somewhere, man. So
you
we're
gotta you gotta start somewhere. We like the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's just fun to talk. So we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow post Buccaneers game.